quality product thing.
Hey everybody, this interview is brought to you by Coach House Garages. Dennis Sharp running the St. Louis metro region here. Get a hold of these guys. We give them a shout out for being a great sponsor of this incredible interview and supporting our community. Check out their full interview on the Your Little Castle website or YouTube channel. Great information. These guys at Coach House Garages do some incredible work. Get a hold of my buddy Dennis Sharp. Please support our sponsors and enjoy this exciting show. Here we go. Giddy up.
And it's just, it sells itself.
All right, everybody, the Greater St. Louis Honor Flight Golf Tournament. Cardinal Cowboy here. I put Carl on. He doesn't like me on the camera, but he's the reason I get connected with a lot of these charities. He's helped a lot of great causes, and we love supporting what Carl does. Now we're going to flip around with me. How are you doing? Good to see you.
How are you?
Hey, great,
Thanks for
great.
being here.
Yeah, great work. You can see this is the fun you get to do when you're part of such a great cause. But the Honor Flight, Carl, how long has the Honor Flight been going now?
Oh gosh, we've got 103 flights now. I don't know the year.
Okay,
1980 something.
1980 something. So these guys, but check out all the action here. All these golf carts lined up for a great cause. They're here to support the Honor Flight, and we're gonna continue to just say hi to everybody as we go by. All good people here for a great cause that you guys have probably seen a lot of good PR about. There they are. And so you tell you, man, when they lined up, I had to park. They actually made a spot for me. I don't know if it was for me on purpose, but one spot on the edge of the, as I pulled up, they're like, you can park here. This place is packed. And so a great group of guys who are doing a lot of stuff to help, and gals doing a lot of great stuff to help the community. But you can look at all these flags they put up here. I mean, this is just really rather amazing, impressive, and for an awesome cause. So, all right, we're a little time over here talking to some of the community people. They've got a gentleman who's got a great story that we're going to interview in just a second. We'll be back. Giddy up. All right, everybody, here I'm here with Keith Hauser.
Correct.
You're a flight
captain, one of three captains on the flight.
Okay,
yeah.
And he was the MC today for this event. The timing was just absolutely perfect. They had, what was that, a
B-25 from World War II.
B-25 flew over us right after they sang the national anthem. It was magical. I mean, the timing, it's like, you guys are well coordinated here. So, and then it flew around. We got the footage here. If you guys didn't see that yet, watch the whole interview. But Keith, tell us why you do this and what this is all really about.
You know, Honor Flight's a great organization. They take World War II, Korean War, and Vietnam veterans to D.C. for the day and show them the memorials that were built in their honor. And for many cases, it's the first time in a very long time they've been in an airplane or flown up there to see that. It becomes a very, very powerful day. And as I said during the address, for the World War II guys, keep in mind that was 80 years ago. And I'm sure in many of their cases they think that their time in service has been forgotten, and it has not. We continue their stories off the rest of their lives and long past that. And for Korean War, they were called a forgotten war, and we want to make sure those veterans know that they were not forgotten in any way. And finally, our Vietnam veterans, which are the bulk of our flights, when they got back from overseas, they were not welcomed home properly. In many cases, they were spit on and told to take their uniform off when they got back. Just a terrible disgrace in our nation's history. So we want to make sure that they, in particular, feel as though that they were appreciated and welcomed home and thanked gratuitously over the course of the day. And many times they will come up to us, quite frankly, and say, you know what, I've waited 50 years for somebody to tell me thank you for going to Vietnam. And that's a pretty heart-ripping moment. You know, that's why we do what we do. We volunteer because these men and women who did serve their time back in those generations, you know, we want to make sure that they are appreciated and recognized and honored. And in many cases for the Vietnam guys, it kind of closes out that chapter. They get to replace some of those bad feelings they had when they came back from Vietnam and were not welcomed home properly. And now with us, we want to make sure that they are just bathed in gratitude. And it means a lot to them. It gets very emotional at times.
Completely understand that. Guys putting their lives on the line, keep our freedom. Appreciate all the support you guys provide for them.
Absolutely. We're honored to.
I know it's been going around since 2009. Is that what Harry said?
Our St. Louis chapter, yes.
And then now we're 2023, everybody. Doing this for a long time. My good buddy Carl Lund always is putting stuff out there. And I said, Carl, what do you got today? He says, come on out. Let's talk about this a little bit. Appreciate it.
You bet.
Thanks,
Anytime.
Keith.
Thank
all right,
you.
everybody, stay tuned for more. This is Your Little Castle Show. Giddy up. All right, everybody, we're at the Honor Flight here. We've got some guys who dedicate their lives to this stuff, supporting this. This is the Central County St. Peter's Community Outreach. This is the fire department, guys, and they do a great job. I've got Mike, Matt, Kyle, and Cole here. All you guys are in the fire department, is that right?
Yes, sir.
Yep.
All right. Matt, tell us a little bit about why you're here and why you love doing what you're doing here.
So we're here with community outreach. Community outreach and the Central County Fire have been very, very fortunate to be a part of the Honor Flight program. We've been very, very fortunate to be asked to work with these veterans, to take these flights with them, to be able to experience the honor that they receive from being on these honor flights. We're actually on-site EMS, so we go. We can be chaperones, we can be EMS, we can be all the above. But we were fortunate years back to be asked to kind of partner with the Greater St. Louis Honor Flight, and we've been doing it ever since. We kind of fight over who gets to go, and there's about 6 or 7 a year, so we're all pretty fortunate to at least allow one of us to go at least once a year.
So you guys are actually on the flights for the purposes of keeping an EMT available in case
100%,
there's an issue?
100%. We at least have a paramedic on site in case there's any problems, and we've actually had a couple instances where there have been medical emergencies, and our guys have sprung into action and taken care of the situation.
Like this guy.
Like this guy, right?
Mike actually saved somebody's life one time. Heimlich maneuver, somebody was choking.
Yes, we're having lunch on the bus, and a couple of people yelled, trying to get my attention. I went up, checked on him. He had some food stuck in his throat. We did the Heimlich, removed the object out of the throat. Everything was good to go from there. So that's what we're there for.
So there you go, everybody. Great community we've got here. Great people helping make it a better place. Here to help the Honor Flight, Greater St. Louis Honor Flight. You guys are awesome, man.
Thank you.
All right, these guys are saving lives. Give me some love.
Thank you.
Appreciate you. Giddy up.
All right,
man.
Thank you.
Giddy up. All right, everybody. We'll be back for more. Giddy up.
And we take them to Washington, D.C. for a one-day trip to visit their memorials made in their honor. I want to thank a couple of our sponsors. First, Central County Fire for cooking our lunch. We have Central County Fire Veterans Fire Truck, Lake St. Louis participation, our 3-star sponsor, Enterprise Bank, and our 5-star sponsor, Dugan Contracting. And I'd like to thank our honor guard and Mike Boschert, our bugler. Right now, Keith's going to give a little more detail on honor flight and our veterans.
Thank you, Becky. You know, honor flight began back in 2005 with a doctor and his flying buddies taking a group of World War II veterans to D.C. in private planes. And they realized very quickly the impact that trip had on those veterans who had never had a chance to see the World War II memorial built in their honor. Fast forward to today, we've got 130 chapters across the United States and have flown about 275,000 veterans from World War II, Korea, and Vietnam. That's quite a number. Our chapter here in St. Louis was one of the first in the country to reach 100 flights, which we did last year. We're very, very, very proud of that. And I can tell you from being a flight leader that all of us that are involved on the ground or in the air, you cannot match or put a price tag on the experience of telling a World War II veteran that after all these years of being out of the military, that what he did was still remembered long after he or she is gone. And for the Korean War veterans, often called the Forgotten War, we just let them know that you're not forgotten at all. We had a great experience one day prior to the Korean War Memorial renovation reopening. We were up there and the construction workers realized that we had veterans with us. They moved all the barricades and our veterans were the first ones to have a chance to go see that improved memorial, which now has their names all in a giant arc around that. And now that we're moving into the Vietnam War era, we found it's such a moving experience to stand and address them very specifically and tell them that we know how they were improperly welcomed home back in the day. We know that they were often treated very, very poorly. And when we do a talk at the Lincoln Memorial and throughout the entire experience, we tell them without a doubt, whether you signed up or were drafted, the country appreciates what you did. And thank you for everything you did on behalf of the United States, leaving their families and leaving friends behind. And quite often throughout the day, these veterans come up and tell us they have waited 50 years for someone to finally say thank you and welcome home. And that's the reason behind why we do what we do. And if it wasn't for your support, there's no way possibly we could continue that. So we want you to have a great day playing golf, but we are so appreciative and honored that you've chosen to spend your day with us and support these brave men and women that serve their country and can never be repaid fully for what they did. At this time, we'd like to have our veterans. If you're a veteran, please come forward. Absolutely. One round of applause, please. All veterans come forward. Thanks to all of you. All of you who have served the nation, left your loved ones behind, and did whatever job was asked of you, and did so with integrity and honor. Thank you all. is our chairman emeritus, Harry Hope. He was a United States Marine and fought in the very, very famous, infamous Chosin Reservoir battle. So he is a chosen frozen right here. We appreciate him very much. He's an inspiration to all of us. At this time, we'd like to have the honor guard. If y'all remove your caps, please, and stand. The honor guard will now bring the colors out, and we'll begin our ceremony.
Mark time! More! Detail! Halt! Left! Hey! Preset! Halt! Up 10. Huh. Right. All right, forward. Port. Huh. Right. Hey. Column right. More. Clear. Clear. Right. Clear. Right. Clear. Clear left. Clear left. Right. Clear. Right. Clear. Right. Clear. Clear left.
Introduce.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, please put your eyes up to the sky and you'll see the B-25. They look forward to B-25 Metropolitan chance to ride in that aircraft on June the 4th. I'd appreciate it if you not did that because I bought tickets. I'd like to fly on it. We'd love to have your support for that. Have a great day playing golf. Thank you once again for being part of the Greater St. Louis Honor Flight Golf Tournament. Thanks, and have an outstanding day.
I think it's coming back around.
All right, everybody, I'm here with Harry Hope. We're at the Greater St. Louis Honor Flight Annual Golf Tournament. Harry here served in our United States military as a Marine, once a Marine, always a Marine, right, Harry?
Right.
and he's now 92 years young, and we're going to ask him what he loves about being part of this honor flight. Harry, why do you love this so much?
Let's start in 2009. I was one of the first ones that had anything to do with the honor flight here in St. Louis. I was asked to be one of the board members, and we only had 3 board members, and we had probably 10 volunteers. And this was in 2009.
Wow.
And I was asked by a group of people who went on the honor flight if they could get funds for us, donate funds for us. And I said, if you're willing to work and to get funds for the honor flight, then I think you should be a board member. There were 5 people there. 3 of them took me up on it and joined me starting the Greater St. Louis honor flight. Before that, it was just the honor flight, St. Louis honor flight. Because we were going to incorporate, we changed our name to the Greater St. Louis honor flight. And we started there. On our first flight, we took 22 people. And they asked me, well, how are you getting the money for 22 people? I said, well, we only have $5,000 now, and we need $5,000 more. And one of the people that were there said, well, then we'll donate that. So that's when the board members became part of the Greater St. Louis honor flight. We had a lawyer involved there, and he wrote up new organizational papers for us. And I've been active in the honor flight now since 2009. I've been on 33 flights. I was on the first flight, and I was on the 100th flight this past November.
Wow. So Harry, tell me, what is the message behind the honor flight, so that people understand why it is you guys get on a plane and fly together?
Well, there's been so many times when you ask the veterans, have you been to Washington, D.C.? Did you see any World War II memorials back then? And they said, oh, no, we can't afford that. We couldn't do that. And this retired Army captain from Ohio, he's the one that really started the nationwide fight by taking 2 or 3 veterans by themselves just to Washington for a day and back. Well, we got hold of him, and we found out how to organize and how to get more people to go, more advertising. And that's when we started advertising in schools and workplaces, and we built up a backlog of about 100 people in 2009, and by 2010, I would say that we had probably 100 people waiting to go on the flight. And they each had the same thing. You know, I spent so much time in service, and it seems like nobody cares what we did. Some of them said I was wounded. I had 2 silver stars, things. And we started advertising, and that's what really keeps everybody going. The fact that we're taking people now that fought in World War II that nobody ever asked them to do anything. They sat there and nobody cares that they live the rest of their life in Korea or World War II or Vietnam.
Well, it's an incredible institution you guys have created here, and it's really awesome to see the support you've gotten and all the support that you've created, because there are a lot of people that obviously put their lives on the line. Many of them gave the ultimate sacrifice and to help maintain this little country that we have here called the United States of America and the freedom that we all enjoy. And it is my honor to start to well up. It's my honor to interview you. Thank you for your service and for what you've done. I appreciate you. If you don't mind, we'll show everybody your United States Marine Corps retired hat. Is that all right?
That's fine.
That's pretty cool.
Can I add something to that?
Absolutely.
I spent a year in the Navy when I was 16. Then I transferred to the Marine Corps. Spent 10 years in the Marine Corps. And they threw me out because of my frostbite. They didn't throw me out. Just
you get frostbite, yeah, I could understand. They might not.
Yeah. And then I came home, and in 1961 I joined the Air Force Reserve. I spent 10 years in the Air Force Reserve, and then transferred over to the Air Guard, and I spent 15 years in the Air Guard. So I have a total of 37 years military.
There you go. Ladies and gentlemen, it's people like Harry Hope here who give us hope. See, you like that?
Yeah.
And they keep things going on this little planet so that we can keep doing what we know is best for our humanity, and we appreciate you. Thank you, Harry. And Harry, we have to talk about the fact that you guys, what's the importance of Tootsie Rolls and why these Tootsie Rolls? This is a regular Tootsie Roll wrapped in an American flag. By the way, I love Tootsie Rolls. I've got a pocket full of them now from you guys. Thank you. That'll be my lunch probably. Tell me, what's the importance of the Tootsie Rolls?
Let's start at the beginning as far as the Tootsie Roll is concerned. When the Marines were trapped up in North Korea in 1950, November and December, it was 40 below zero. We had 3 foot of snow on the ground, and we were trapped, circled by the Chinese, by 120,000 Chinese. We was running out of ammunition. We had sea rations in a can. We had to chip food out of it and put it in the mouth and let it dissolve. We couldn't start a fire because we'd get incoming mortars from the Chinese. So we were eating the cold sea rations, and we asked for ammunition with the code word was Tootsie Roll.
I gotcha.
And
there they are, everybody.
The Army did not know our code word, and when they dropped the canisters up and down the line, we opened them up and they were Tootsie Roll candy bars. And you know, when you haven't eaten anything in 2 or 3 days, or 4 days, a Tootsie Roll looked awful damn good. And we were grabbing those Tootsie Rolls and we were stuffing them down our pants, pant legs, and our blouse, and any place where we could get a Tootsie Roll, we took one.
Well,
all right. And let's go back now to about 1960. I was at a convention in California, and I was sitting at a table with 2 ladies and a gentleman. And the gentleman and I started talking, and he mentioned the word Tootsie Roll. How come the Marines love the Tootsie Rolls so much? And I told him, and he said, well, where do you get your Tootsie Rolls? I said, that we buy them. Buy them in Snooks, Deerberg, Walgreens. I thought he was nuts. I looked at him, and I said, you can get Tootsie Rolls almost any place. He said, well, where do you get yours that you give out when you get funds? I said, I get them from the retail stores. He said, I don't want you to buy another Tootsie Roll. And I thought he was nuts. I'm thinking, why don't you want me to buy Tootsie Rolls? He gave me a card and he said, anytime I need Tootsie Rolls, call him.
He wanted you to get them
And
for
I
free.
look at the card of the president and CEO of the Tootsie Roll Corporation in Chicago.
Wow.
And I looked at that, and you know, everybody gives cards out at functions like that.
Sure.
And for 3 or 4 months, I looked at the card and I thought, that guy was, you know. I said, but I think I'll call him anyhow. And I called, he answered the phone. And his name was Bill. I said, Bill, I said, yeah, I met you in San Diego. He said, Harry, he said, how come it took you so long to call? I said, well, because I thought you were just joking. He said, no. Let me send you a couple boxes of Tootsie Rolls now, and from now on, you call me when you want Tootsie Rolls. 3 days later, I had 2 30-pound boxes of Tootsie Rolls on my front porch from Bill. From the
30-pound boxes, that's a lot of Tootsie Rolls.
There's 30 pounds in a box. And I get 2 boxes right before Memorial Day and two boxes before Veterans Day. And if I need any before, I call up, and either his wife, and now the president, Bill died, but his wife, Ellen, is the president and CEO and executive vice president, Mary Wall. Mary takes my messages if I can't get hold of the president. So that's where the Tootsie Roll comes from. And we give Tootsie Rolls out to anybody that we think is going to donate to the honor flight, or the chosen few. The chosen few are the group that lived on from the mountains of North Korea that was trapped. There were such few of us. We started an organization called the Chosen Few. The Chosen is named after a reservoir in North Korea.
There you go. Now you understand the story behind the Tootsie Rolls. We've got a bunch of them here. I've got a few more in my pocket. I'm going to eat some of these, and we're going to give back to these guys a little bit, doing great stuff to help our community and our planet. And if you're so lucky as I have been so far to get one of the cards from Harry and his team here, it tells the story about the Tootsie Rolls too. So look for this. We'll be back for more, everybody. Giddy up. Wow, that was, took my head off for that, but that was impressive. So here we go, everybody. Lots more fun and excitement. We're going to interview somebody very special that's involved with this, somebody to honor that's dedicated their life. Giddy up. That's pretty cool.